Not all mountains are climbed for glory. Some climbed for survival, and one is climbed for death. This is Nanga Parbat, 8,126 meters of ice and stone, the 9th highest peak in the world. But to climbers, it is feared as the Killer Mountain. For more than a century, it has swallowed climbers whole. Avalanches, storms, exhaustion, and even bullets have claimed lives on its slopes. Over 80 people have perished here. And yet, climbers still come, drawn by obsession, ambition, and the lure of the impossible. Tonight, we uncover 8 true tragedies that define this mountain's deadly legacy. Each one is a chilling reminder of why Nanga Parbat is unlike any other peak on Earth. 3 men set out to make history, but instead, they became history. This was Nanga Parbat's first kill. In 1895, British mountaineer Albert F. Mummery, one of the greatest climbers of his time, led an expedition to the unclimbed Rakhiot face. With him were 2 Gurkha companions, Raghobir Thapa and Goman Singh. Their dream was simple but dangerous, to be the first to conquer the mountain. But Nanga Parbat had other plans. While exploring higher up, a powerful avalanche thundered down the slope. In an instant, the 3 men vanished. They were never found. For the mountaineering world, Mummery's death was a devastating shock. He was a pioneer, a visionary, and his loss marked the beginning of the mountain's deadly reputation. From that day, Nanga Parbat was no longer just another Himalayan giant. It had claimed its first victims. It has become the Killer Mountain. 17 lives, gone in a single storm, the deadliest mountaineering disaster the world had ever seen. In 1934, a massive German expedition led by Willy Merkel arrived at Nanga Parbat. The team included some of the best climbers of the era, including Willo Welzenbach and Uli Wieland, supported by Sherpa porters. At first, progress was steady. Camps were established high on the Rakhiot face, but soon tragedy struck. Alfred Drexel collapsed and died from altitude sickness. Still, the climbers pushed upward until a brutal storm trapped them near the summit. Snow buried their tents, supplies ran out, and the cold became unbearable. Days passed. One by one, the climbers succumbed to frostbite, exhaustion, and starvation. Merkel, Welzenbach, Wieland, and 6 Sherpas perished in the blizzard. 17 climbers were lost in total. Only a handful made it back alive, scarred forever by the nightmare. The 1934 disaster was the deadliest accident in mountaineering history at that time. It cemented Nanga Parbat's reputation as a killer, a place where even the strongest could be crushed by nature. A dream of glory turned into a brother's grave. One survived. One never came home. In 1970, Reinhold and Günther Messner set out to conquer the mighty Rupel Face, the tallest mountain wall on Earth. After days of climbing, battered and exhausted, the brothers achieved what many thought impossible. They reached the summit of Nanga Parbat. But the descent became a nightmare. Unable to return the same way, they were forced down the dangerous Diamir Face. Exhaustion slowed them to a crawl. Then, disaster struck. Avalanches ripped across the slopes. Reinhold barely survived, frostbitten and half dead. But Günther was lost forever, buried beneath the snow. For decades, controversy surrounded Reinhold. Some accused him of abandoning his brother. But in 2005, Günther's remains were discovered, proving he had died in an avalanche. Reinhold went on to become one of history's greatest climbers, but the shadow of Nanga Parbat and the loss of his brother haunted him forever. The Killer Mountain had taken one Messner brother and scarred the other for life. This time, it wasn't the mountain that killed me. It was men with guns. In June 2013, climbers from around the world rested at Diamir Base Camp, preparing for their ascent. The night was calm until gunfire shattered the silence. Armed militants disguised as security forces stormed the camp. They tied up the climbers and executed them in cold blood. 10 foreign mountaineers and 1 Pakistani guide were murdered. The attack shocked the world. It was one of the darkest days in mountaineering history, not because of snow or avalanches, but because of human cruelty. For many, the massacre marked Nanga Parbat as more than just a deadly peak. It had become a symbol of vulnerability, where even the safest place, the base camp, could turn into a battlefield. 2 climbers set out on the longest ridge in the Himalayas and vanished without a trace. In 2017, Spanish climber Alberto Zarain and Argentine climber Mariano Galvan attempted the legendary Mazeno Ridge. Stretching for miles, it is one of the hardest routes on any 8,000-meter peak. Midway across, radio contact was lost. Search teams feared the worst. Satellite images later confirmed it. A massive avalanche had swept across the ridge. Neither Alberto nor Mariano was ever found. The ridge had become their grave. Their disappearance was a chilling reminder that on Nanga Parbat, even the approach routes can turn deadly in an instant. The killer mountain gives nothing back. It only takes. She faced the most painful choice a climber can make: leave her partner or die with him. In January 2018, Elizabeth Reval of France and Tomek Makiewicz of Poland attempted the near impossible, a winter ascent of Nanga Parbat. The mountain was merciless, -40 temperatures, blizzards, and deadly winds. Near the summit, Tomek collapsed, blinded and sick from altitude sickness. Elizabeth tried desperately to help, but the truth became clear. She could not bring him down alone. Heartbroken, she left him behind in the high camp and descended alone. A daring rescue team saved her at the last moment, frostbitten and half-conscious. Tomek remained on the mountain forever. The tragedy stunned the world. It showed the brutal reality of winter climbing and the heartbreaking choices climbers sometimes must make on Killer Mountain. The spur, named after death, claimed death once again. In 2019, Italian Daniele Nardi and British Tom Ballard attempted the unclimbed Mummery Spur, a deadly ridge named after the very first victim of Nanga Parbat, Albert Mummery. Their expedition caught the world's attention, but after several days, communication ceased. Search teams scoured the slopes. Finally, rescuers spotted 2 bodies high on the spur. They were Nardi and Ballard. Both had perished in their attempt to make history. For the climbing community, the loss was immense. Tom Ballard's death echoed with tragedy. His mother, Alison Hargreaves, had died on K2. Now, both mother and son had been lost to the mountains. The Mummery Spur had once again proven fatal. A century after Mummery's death, it claimed more lives. Even today, with all our technology and power, the Killer Mountain still wins. In 2025, reports confirmed the death of Czech mountaineer Klára Kolochova during an ascent attempt. She was one of Europe's most respected female climbers, yet even her experience was no match for Nanga Parbat. The details remain unclear, but the message is undeniable. The Killer Mountain has not changed. It still demands the ultimate price. More than a century after its first tragedy, Nanga Parbat continues its deadly legacy. For over 100 years, Nanga Parbat has stood as a giant of death and obsession. From Mummery in 1895 to Kolochova in 2025, the Killer Mountain has taken more than 80 lives. It is a predator disguised as a peak, a silent executioner that demands everything from those who dare. And yet, climbers still come. Because to them, standing on top of Nanga Parbat is not just victory, it is immortality. This is Nanga Parbat. This is Killer Mountain. If this story gripped you, hit like, comment, and share. Join us again as we uncover more of the world's most dangerous places.